Okay, thank you. And on the acquisition side, can you just share with us how you ensure when you do acquisitions, especially some of the acquisitions you're doing are stressed acquisitions, how do you integrate them into such a big organisation and make sure the culture beds in and make sure, how to motivate them people?
Well, that's an excellent question. I mean, we just did one. So let me give you the experience of the one we did, which was Orange County in LA and in northern Mexico and Dallas. Those people were the two owner-operators, one from Dallas, one from LA. They were at a certain age, they wanted to get out, and they were going to retire from the business. The management, there isn't one single manager of that organization that we bought that we have got rid of, because they themselves were excellent people, and they immediately identified with our culture, and we identified with their culture, and what they say is they want to be the best acquisition we've ever made. And we have motivated them, we've got them part of the team, they've been over to our European business, they've seen exactly what we do in Europe and how much more advanced we are than that they are in their business. And so therefore, our job is to give them the tools, as Winston Churchill said, and let us do the job. I mean, so basically, we give them the tools. Now, they have to do the job. I can't be in Los Angeles or Mexicali in northern Mexico to do that job for them. They have to do it. But if they don't do it, we'll change them because we're giving them the tools. We're helping them win the war against their competitors in the United States and northern Mexico. And they will, because they're great people and they're hungry to learn. They're hungry to make it happen. And that's so when you have an acquisition, you just bring them your expertise. And if they're any good, which hopefully they are, they'll bring it forward and they'll integrate well, and which they have.
Thank you.
Gentleman here in purple, yep.
Tony Cosgrave, DTS. Congratulations on your successful business so far. When you look back over that business growth and provide some advice to people that are growing businesses, hopefully, when is the right time to concentrate on the core business growth only or start to think about diversification?
Well, Gabriel, I mean, it depends on yourself, I suppose. I mean, I think if your product that you're bringing has reached its maximum potential, you've got to diversify. If your product that you know and you love and you can bring forward can take you to another level, why wouldn't you stick to something that you know? It depends on your product. If you have some great idea that can be globalized or taken out of the country, that's something that I would say go for by sticking to your knitting. But if it doesn't have that potential to go to another leg, you've got to move on to something else. So it depends on what you do.
The lady, just here, please.
Good morning, Tony. This really isn't a question. I'm Vicky O'Toole, Managing Director of JJ O'Toole Limited. We're also a packaging company, albeit a lot smaller than you are. 100 years old this year. There's a photograph in my office of your grandfather and my late father-in-law. They were both directors of Clondalkin Group. Mm-hmm. So, we go way, way, way back. And you're actually a customer of ours. You buy your luxury packaging from the K Club from us. So I hope when you do diversify, it won't be into luxury packaging. But I think one of the things that I'm getting...
Well, after Maria's thing, I think we have to come to Limerick, so,
Yeah. I actually know Sharon, she along the way, but I think the one thing that I'm getting from this is the word that you've been using quite a lot is passion. And I think, if you have passion, it doesn't matter. That's why you want to keep working all the time. And I think that's why the longevity of your company, and it's so much bigger than ours, but I think that keeps everybody going. It's the passion for what you're doing.
That's a good point. I think so.
There's the lady to the rear here, please.
Thank you very much. I'm Jill Pearson. I'm a lecturer here in the business school. The passion is obvious, and working 270 or traveling 270 days of the year is an incredible feat. Obviously, you're not dropping the kids off at school before you head out to work in the morning. Is it possible to manage, you and your senior team and your managers, to manage that passion and work-life balance? And can your top team actually survive in the business without having a stay-at-home full-time partner?
I think, you know, it's an interesting question. I mean, how do you? There's no time in your life that you have a perfect balance. At least sometimes you know, when I'm at home for a week, for example, I want to get back out on the road. When I'm away for 2 weeks, I want to get back home. There is no perfect balance that you can have. You try your best, and you sometimes go one way or the other. And I think having trying to make the balance with your spouse or your partner is something that you have to work out together. And some people are able to do it, and I've been very fortunate that I have a great partner and wife that we've been married for nearly 25 years. So I've been lucky that she's put up with me, frankly. But you know, some people it hasn't been lucky for, and so you know, some people find that, you know, as I say, some managers sometimes are brilliant managers, and then they don't perform at the same level in the future, and that can be because, you know, their work-life balance has got out of whack, and you know, that's just part of the risk that you have when running a big business. You know, whether it's me or one of my reports, you know, there is a risk to doing so, but that's life. I mean, you know, you can sit at home and watch the news if you want, but you know, so some of us want to do things, and there's a risk to that.
Gentleman in the middle here.
Good morning. Welcome to Limerick. Colin O'Brien's my name. I am a Northside dub.
Definitely not go near you.
Never
keep me away from it.
Just thought I'd forewarn you. I live in Limerick now, and I grew up. My mum and dad still live on Tonleggy Road. They're just up the road from one of your plants. But I'm very interested in this packaging thing, the move to branded packaging, selling your product by using the outer casing. I remember many years ago seeing the Gateway 2000. I think it was Gateway 2000 box, which was like a black and white cow almost. Do you remember that packaging anywhere?
Gateway.
Gateway, yeah, Gateway. Computers, and I remember being fascinated by that principle of having your box stand out from the crowd. You said earlier that 40% of packaging that you're involved in at the moment is sort of heading that direction. Is that a direction you think is coming down the track generally?
Oh yeah, I mean, as I said, the whole area of shelf-ready packaging. If you're going into a supermarket and you have €100 to spend in the supermarket or €50 to spend, you don't intend to spend a lot. But the supermarket's objective is for you to spend a lot. And the way they do that is by having that moment of truth. As you're walking down the aisle, you see something that you want, you didn't think you wanted, but you actually go ahead and you make that impulse purchase. And packaging plays an incredible role in making that happen. Because the better the box, the brighter the box, the more stand out the box is, that's where you make that impulse purchase. And you know, our branded companies, customers, are very keen on this whole area of how, not only from the supermarket perspective, where you actually, instead of taking the bottles out of the box and putting them on the shelf, it's actually, you know, that's labor intensive. So therefore, they want a quick rip, put it on the shelf, and then help the product sell itself. If you go through the supermarkets and you see the ones that do it badly, you know, there's not an attractive form and it doesn't make you want to buy. That moment of truth is critical for the customer to have his product stand out, because it's that one, own label or branded. And the branded guy's got to say, my product is, all that advertising and subliminal stuff that they do is useless if their product is at the back of the shelf, fallen down in a bad package, and there's a near copy next to it. So it's a huge trend in packaging to go much more printed.
Now, it is 9 o'clock at the moment, so Mein Führer has told me we have time for one further question, if that's okay.
Hi, Lisa O'Malley from the KBS Business School. I just wanted to ask you, you said you spend a lot of time with customers, but one of your New Year's resolutions, in a sense, is to spend more time. What I'm really interested in is spending time doing what? I think that's useful for companies to understand.
Well, is getting them to love you. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we can say all we want about how great our package is and all that sort of stuff, but if somebody comes and undercuts you by 5% or 10%, you want that guy to be able to come to you and say, listen, Tony, I will accept 7% less from you because you're such a nice guy, and it's not that you're a nice guy, you're delivering me good service, you're delivering me good quality, it's always on time, so therefore I would say that, please can you do something to help me not have to give this guy the business who I don't know and don't like, but I like you, so let's find a deal. It's about having the relationships. I mean, business is still about relationships with your customers. I mean, at the end of the day, as I say, everything comes back to, in business, your customer. Whether it's the end consumer, if you're a consumer goods company, or us, business to business. It's about the customer.
I'm going to take the opportunity of asking the last question because for those of you who don't know, packaging is a lead indicator within the economy, because obviously if we're shipping goods, it's being boxed. Are you seeing any pickup in the Irish economy from your Irish plants?
Well, Ireland has a particular. We saw no growth in Ireland during the boom years in Ireland, the Celtic Tiger. We saw zero growth in Ireland in our business because Ireland became a service economy. So, we saw a massive deindustrialization of Ireland even during the boom times, and that was more evidenced by here in Limerick with Dell, our biggest customer, moving out. Because costs went up too much. So I can't say, we've certainly seen it stabilise. The export markets that we service are stable, and our customers are stable. It's too early to say whether or not we're seeing anything positive, but in any event, Ireland is such a small market for us that it's I don't think we would see it as a big indicator.
Thank you. That's a great note on which to end, because of course if we look at Ireland as being only 4 or 5 million people and being a tiny amount within the world, that everybody who's in business should actually be thinking way beyond these shores, just like you guys have done. And thank you very, very, very much for your